Schedules will be cleared and snacks will be prepared as New Zealand sports fans get set for a big day on the sofa on Sunday. It starts very early, of course, with the All Black Springboks kicking off at about 4 a.m. Later there's the Silver Ferns and of course across the ditch there's the Bathurst 1000 motor race for the Rev Heads. Joining me in the studio to discuss all of that is our sports reporter Clay Wilson. Good evening to you.
Good evening, Alex.
So All Blacks have the rugby championship all locked up, but after the loss to the Springboks, I guess it's going to be an interesting game.
Yeah, it was shaping as a dead rubber, this game at the start of the rugby championship, but of course now a lot on the line. The All Blacks out for revenge and the South Africans buoyed by that win in Wellington, really keen on backing that up, I guess, especially on home soil. So we go back to Loftus Versfeld, and interestingly, the game was really struggling to sell tickets. 48 hours after that Wellington win, the stadium was sold out.
Wow.
Also has a lot of history for the All Blacks in South Africa. This is the ground where the All Blacks sealed their first win in a series in South Africa, and that was 22 years ago. So a lot of history at this ground. So I guess we'll see. The All Blacks have picked their best available team. Interestingly, we've got Sonny Bill Williams teaming up with young Jack Goodhue in midfield. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Steve Hansen had a great line, I think, earlier this week. He said it's like two big bulls in a pen and it'll be last man standing. And I guess he's prone to hyperbole sometimes, but it seems pretty accurate. These teams are both very desperate to win this game for different reasons.
Yeah, and the Boks have made a few changes to the team that beat Australia as well, haven't they?
Yeah, they've had a couple of players I think had to go away for club commitments as well, so injuries and those sorts of things, and the All Blacks also dealing with a couple of injuries, but as far as who's available, both sides have picked their best available 15s.
Yeah, it will be interesting and worth getting up for at 4 a.m. Later in the day, the Silver Ferns, so I guess there's a few experiments here with some new players. Is this sort of an attempt to just try different people out before the World Cup next year, or are we really going for the best team to win the Constellation Cup?
Yeah, I guess this is the next step in Nolene Taurua's reign, and it's probably a bit of a balance between both of those things. She's made 3 changes. Young Maya Wilson comes in, and also a really nice story, Sulu Fitzpatrick coming in. She played 1 test 7 years ago, and now she's back in the team. So I guess Nolene Taurua is trying to balance things. They definitely obviously want to win. They had that 5-goal loss to the Diamonds to finish the quad series last month. So it shows they're there or thereabouts. 4 tests, it's going to be a pretty accurate gauge, I think, of where this Ferns team is getting to under Taurua's, and then looking forward to next year and of course, like you say, the World Cup.
Right. Now, across the ditch, we've got the Bathurst 1000, and it seems to be a bit interesting this year, particularly just because I think the whole of state of New South Wales is having a lot of rain. It's breaking the drought at least, but it's making things a bit difficult for people trying to qualify for the race. Yeah,
there's a bit of head-scratching going on at a lot of these teams because a lot of the main drivers haven't been in the car simply because the weather forecast is supposed to improve, so there's no point in them being out on a wet track if they're going to be qualifying and racing on a dry track. So we've got qualifying getting underway in about half an hour from now, actually. Right. So that should be very, very interesting to see how that goes. The likes of the 2 leading the championship, both Kiwi, Scott McLaughlin, Shane Van Gisbergen, haven't had much time in the car, so I guess we'll see how they go. It does make things very difficult to prepare for, but a great race. I think it's about 2 o'clock on Sunday afternoon it gets underway. 161 laps, 6.2 kilometres, and of course Mount Panorama. It's one of the most compelling races on the motorsport calendar, so certainly one to settle in for on the sofa on Sunday afternoon.
Plenty to watch. Thanks so much, Clay. We'll be looking forward to see how those All Blacks go as well, the Silver Ferns. And if you are into the racing cars, you can tune into the Bathurst 1000 as well. Hopefully that rain stays away on Sunday.